You know, you would be forgiven for saying that this fragrance it's a little bit loud. You'd also be forgiven if you said that this fragrance is a little bit sort of screechy. You know what? You'd also be forgiven if you kind of said this fragrance smells a little bit sort of dated. And you know what? Seriously, you'd also be forgiven if you said that this fragrance smells kind of a little bit cheap. Here's the thing. Realistically, this fragrance is all of those things. You know, it's loud, it's screechy, it's dated, it kind of smells cheap. Well, here's the really crazy thing. In a very strange, in a very, how can we say, bizarre, maybe nonsensical kind of way, I actually enjoy this fragrance. But this is what happens. You know, when you've got a toddler and you've got to take the toddler to the playgroup and they do not want to go to this playgroup, and all in the pushchair, they're trying to put their feet down, trying to stop the pushchair, they're crying, they're screaming, they do not want to go to this playgroup. And then you sort of force them into this playgroup, and next thing you know, they're having great fun and they don't want to come home from the playgroup. This is exactly me with this fragrance. Okay, we're talking about Joop HOMME. Okay, it is an old one. It's about 1989, I think this was originally launched. This is the Eau de Toilette. Okay, it's the 100ml. I think it's 100ml, thereabouts. And yeah, it is a dated kind of fragrance. It does smell kind of cheap. Yes, it's loud, it's screechy. It's not really what I would normally choose to wear as a fragrance. But when I sort of say to myself, come on, Nicky, just try it. You know, it can't be that bad. This is what happens. Ridiculously, I do enjoy it. Alright, let me try and describe this. But before I do that, let me give you a massive, massive warm welcome to a crazy John Ned fragrance review. Alright, I'm not a professional, I'm not an expert, I'm just a crazy random guy sharing fragrances with you. And I respect you coming to this channel because I love being able to share these fragrances with you. Alright, where were we? Joop HOMME. Alright, on the top shelf of this crazy fragrance, there's some fruits. Now, I've got to be honest, it's not a sort of fragrance where you can pick out and say, oh yes, there's a plum and yes, there's an orange. It's just sort of like a general sort of slightly citrusy fruit accord at the top. Drop down onto the next shelf, the middle shelf of this fragrance, and you've got like a floral element. And once again, I can't pick out and tell you, oh, it's this floral or that floral. It's sort of maybe it's white floral elements. There's also the traditional cinnamon. There's a lot of cinnamon in this one, to be fair. And there's a kind of a slightly spicy tone to it. This is not a spicy fragrance. Neither is it a very citrusy fragrance. I don't know what it is really, but there is a citrus sort of fruity element at the top, excuse me, and there is a hint of sort of spice. The bottom of this fragrance, the bottom is realistically what happens in this fragrance. Okay, in the bottom you've got some vanilla, you've got some tonka, you've got some sandalwood, you've got a little bit of tobacco. Now it's not sort of really tobacco-y sort of fragrance, but it does have a tobacco element. And then the big player is honey. Alright, if I was to summarise this, I would describe it as a cinnamon and honey bomb. Okay, because those are the two big players in this Joop HOMME. Cinnamon and honey. That is essentially the core of this fragrance. And all the other notes, the citrus and the sandalwood and the tonka and whatever else, the florals, they sort of are in the mix. They just add to this fragrance. Alright, so it's a very old fragrance, and I wonder whether I actually rate it because it stood the test of time. You know, in 2023 you can still buy this Joop HOMME, and it was originally launched, I say, 89, something like that. Okay, so look, let's give it its due. It has let's give it its Joop. I nearly said that, man. Let's give it its Joop then. This has stood the test of time. Okay, is it a fragrance that I would choose? It kind of isn't. Okay, a little while back I was gifted this. I've never actually bought Joop. I've smelt it loads of times, but it's never inspired me to buy a bottle. A little while back I came into work and this was by my computer with my other bottles, and I'm just like, who's put that there? Anyway, I did a bit of research, and one of the sales managers who apparently said to his family, I like Joop HOMME, they got him the box set, which was this and some kind of soap or something. Anyway, he hadn't used much, as you can see, and he gifted it to me because although he'd told his family, oh, I think I like Joop HOMME, he kind of didn't. And I will say, this is not an easy wear. Maybe it was back in the late 80s and through the 90s, but now this is kind of not an easy wear. But let me tell you, all right, let it settle down, because, all right, I will be honest with you, when you first smell it, your first reaction is it's loud, it's screechy, it's dated, it smells kind of cheap. All right, that is unfortunately the first impression you get with Joop. But let me tell you, excuse me. Oh man, I've got to get rid of this cough. Right, after about 35 to 40 minutes, this stuff becomes actually very wearable, but you do have to go through the first 35-40 minutes of something which it's all right. I say it's not a fragrance I would choose. Right, we need to talk about the performance, because the performance, and this is an eau de toilette, the performance is crazy good. Now here in the UK we can buy this 100ml of Joop HOMME eau de toilette. We can buy this for about 25 to 30 British pounds. So it is an inexpensive fragrance. So does it work? All right, let's just talk about the performance, because the performance for its price is crazy good. For the first hour and a half it is loud, it is screechy and all the other things, but seriously, for the first hour and a half it is loud. You go into a room, seriously, and everyone in that room, providing it's not like a big hall, like an ordinary house room sort of thing, everyone in that room smells Joop HOMME, because it does, it projects. For the first hour and a half it's quite loud. All right, then what happens for another sort of between 3 and 5 hours, it drops down from filling rooms to a sort of a arm's length scent bubble, and then it does that for another sort of between 3 and 5 hours. So realistically, the performance on Joop HOMME, the eau de toilette, is actually stunning. All right, okay, there aren't many fragrances which perform like this for that price. In fact, I don't really know of any other fragrances that for the 25 to 30 pound perform as strong as this. All right, if you're going to be brave and you're going to go out and buy it, right, first of all I suggest that you go to a fragrance counter and spray it. Have a sample, spray it on your skin, see how it works on your skin, but do not judge it in the first 30 minutes, because it is kind of, it just smells so cheap and screechy in the first 30 minutes. Okay, once it's settled down and it beds into your skin, as long as you like that sort of 1980s cinnamon honey sort of combo, then it actually works well. Is it masculine? All right, it's ridiculously sweet and piercing, but it is a masculine scent. And here's the crazy thing, I've worn it quite a lot since I was gifted it, and the females comment on it. You know, they're not all over you, they don't sort of want to sort of say, oh, what are you wearing? They just say, oh, you smell nice. In fact, I was at work and one of the cleaners, she looked at me, she went, you smell good today. And seriously, all right, it is, you will get compliments, because, and I think the main reason is, it's not because it's the most ultimate crazy good kind of smell, although it's not bad. I think it's because people smell it, because it does radiate from you. Okay, so if you're looking for an inexpensive but very good performance fragrance that you can buy anywhere. You know, Superdrug, Boots, you know, everyone sells Joop HOMME. It's a legend. It's been going for so long, everyone sells it. It's not bad. You do, I mean, I couldn't wear it every day because it does get a little bit, all right, I'll be honest with you, there's only 2 fragrances that ever have given me a headache. This one, Joop HOMME, this has given me twice, it's given me a bit of a headache. And the other one is a fragrance which is similar in its smell, and that's a Lapidus par HOMME. All right, these two are almost sort of brothers, separated at birth sort of thing, you know. These two share a very similar scent profile. You know, it's that typical 1980s honey bomb, okay? That one hasn't really got the cinnamon. That Joop has got the cinnamon. That's where they sort of vary, but okay, that's about £20, that's about £25 to £30, so similar price for what you get these days. They're both crazy good performance. I would, out of those 2, maybe the more wearable one is Joop, okay? Even then, these days you have to sort of deal with the fact that it's not just an easy wear, okay? Alright. Anyway, I'm not suggesting you go out and buy it, I'm suggesting you go out and maybe sample it or try it. If you know someone with it, why don't you borrow it? Say, can I borrow it? Because they're not going to say, well, no, I wear it every day. Chances are they'll say, yeah, borrow it for a week, try it. Okay, so be comfortable with it before you go out and spend. I know you're not spending an absolute fortune on it, but please be comfortable with it. Check that you can live with it, deal with it, and wear it and enjoy it before you go out and shell out on a full bottle. Alright, I really appreciate being able to share these fragrances with you. I really appreciate you coming to this channel. I appreciate you have spent some time listening to this review, even though you may not be buying the fragrance. But the thing is, I've managed to share. And what I'm here for, really, 2 reasons. First of all, I'm here to share them with you. And secondly, I'm here to inspire you to wear a fragrance, which everyone, just to wear a good fragrance every day. Doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're around the house, washing the car, doing the garden, going to your place of worship, going to the gym, going to work, wherever you are, please wear a fragrance, a good one, all right? I'm going to love you and leave you now. In fact, I'm going to bid you farewell, but before I go, please, 2 things. First of all, stay safe, and secondly, please take the oath and say, yes, Leggy, I will wear a good fragrance. I'll spray it every day. Before I go to work, I'll spray it while I'm at work. I'll spray it when I get home. I'll spray it after the shower. I'll spray it all the time. Okay, I'm going to love you and leave you. Good night and goodbye.